Well, hey, Power Agents, this is Daryl Davis, and I have got a real special a student. I don't want to say student because he doesn't look like a student, as you can all tell. Those of you who are watching this, his name's Frank Dunn. Frank, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
So, gang, I got to tell you, Frank, I'm very excited and honored that I'm interviewing him because Frank goes back to when I first started doing seminars and training programs. So this goes back. When was that, Frank? What year was that?
That was in 89.
89.
Long time ago.
A long time ago. I dye my hair, Frank. I have to because it's all gray under here. But that's a long time. And so Frank and I go way back. And Frank had some challenges. Let's actually, Frank, let's tell people first your contact information, then I'll get into the story a little bit, okay?
All right. Want my email address?
Yeah, sure, man.
Okay. Frankdunnrealtor at gmail.com.
Man, that's simple. Frankdunnrealtor at gmail.com. And
Yeah.
Dunn is spelled D-U-N-N, of course,
Right.
with two N's. And Frank is in San Antonio, Texas. Is that right, Frank?
That's correct.
Now, Frank and I go, wait, Frank, I don't want to get personal, but do you mind sharing your age? Because I think that inspires people.
I am now 75.
Okay. So he's a young 75. Now, Frank, why don't we just spend a couple of minutes talking about your early beginnings, how we met, the challenge that you had, because one of the reasons why I want to interview you is not just because you're one of my first students and we haven't talked in years, and this is really a treat for me, but also because of the challenges that you've gone through and how you got through it and the blessings you're having today. Because some agents right now watching this are going through their own personal challenges. And sometimes when you're in a challenge, you can't see getting out of it, and you can almost fall into despair. So let's go to your story. So first you started real estate, and so take it away.
I started in 1989. I did a lot of cold calling, and I got 19 listing appointments without getting a listing. And then I went to one of Daryl's training programs and immediately started getting listings. And I was averaging 8 listings a month.
Wow.
For the next few years. Is that what you wanted to know? Or? Yeah,
so far that's great. So some real great success there early on in your career. And you stand out, Frank, because you were doing, as far as one of my students, because you did so well, averaging 8 listings a month. But then you had a challenge. Why don't you tell everybody about what happened with the accident?
I was coming back from a listing appointment. I just gotten the listing, so I was happy about that. I was sitting at a red light, and some trash trucks were coming down the highway. And the light changed, and one of the trash trucks couldn't brake in time, so he came off the road, hit me in the driver's side door. I woke up in the hospital about 2 weeks later, and I didn't know anything about the last 2 weeks. I wasn't in a coma. It's just that I was had a cracked skull and couldn't concentrate on anything. I was just talking out of my mind, and things like that. So it took me 12 years to finally get back to the point where I could go back to work.
Now, I do want to say that when we first met. And when this happened, you were in Virginia Beach.
Right. Well, Newport News.
Newport News, sorry. Okay, Newport News. And but you went to, so now you moved to San Antonio when this happened, or shortly after, because your wife has family there, and she needed help to take care of you because you were pretty messed up.
Yeah.
And, and I want to, go ahead, say that again, Frank.
I couldn't even write a check.
Wow. You've been married for how long?
46 years.
46 years. Just First of all, just as an aside from real estate, I mean, we're very blessed to have a wife or somebody behind you, as long as you have had, and to help you through that time in your life. Love's a powerful thing, and that's a wonderful thing when you find somebody that is so committed to you. Sometimes we don't realize how lucky we are to have these
The
people.
therapist told me during that time that 90% of the people who have a severe concussion like I had end up in divorce in 2 years.
Really?
Right. And it's because the spouse cannot take it.
Wow.
Not because the injured one, but the spouse just cannot take it and
Yep.
divorcing the other one.
Wow.
My wife stood with me, and she was doing it all.
Wow. That's a blessing, man.
Four kids
Well,
at the time.
I'm sure that after you heard that statistic, you had to buy her a nice Christmas present that year.
We were already so committed to one another that I didn't have any doubt.
Man, that's so inspiring. Okay. All right. So let's get back to business here. So now here you are, you're at now I asked you this before we started the recording, but so just to let people know, 12 years of, rehabilitation and everything else in the support of your wife, you are now at 100% back to how you used to be before the accident.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. Now you're still, you're a mature man and you're still out there rocking and rolling. I'm reading my notes here. You told me in 2018, you got 26 listings. In 2019, 26 listings.
Mm-hmm.
You were the top listing agent in your company. Your company has 200 agents.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn impressive.
Well,
Now you say, and let's talk about how you work your business. So I got notes here, but I want you just to talk off the cuff.
okay.
What are you doing, Frank, how are you working with your business with, first of all, buyers? Are you working buyers at all?
I never work with buyers. I refer those out to another agent in our company.
So when you get a listing, and if your listing generates buyer leads, you don't work them?
Nope.
Why is that?
Buyers were just taking up so much of my time. But the main reason is when I went to your training program way back in '89, you just kept drilling it into us that listings is the name of the game.
That's right.
So that's ever since I've been to that program, that's where my heart's been, is get listings.
That's awesome. I'm really glad about that. Now, so you get the listing and you just give it to another. I mean, you get the buyer leads. You just give it to another agent. That frees up your time to keep listing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm curious. Do you get a referral fee on these buyers?
Yeah, I get the 20% referral fee. If that agent takes them out and finds them a home, I get 20% of the commission.
Now, do you have open houses done on your listings that you get?
Usually not. This agent that does my buyer leads, she realizes that buyer lead open houses that she's done didn't really pay off.
Okay. So it turns out in your market, the buyer leads just don't produce. I mean, open houses don't produce really buyers. So any buyers leads you get might be from the MLS or whatever. Okay.
Start looking at the signs and calling me.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about how you're getting your listings. So, because you shared some really awesome things when it comes to expireds. Where would you say are all the different places that these leads come from?
Well, prospecting.
Okay.
I probably prospect about 2 hours a day, and I really hit expireds heavy. That's who I go after every day.
So now that's awesome. So 2 hours a day, there's a focus on the expired portion of it.
Right.
Are you calling FSBOs at all, Frank?
No,
Okay.
but I did that in the past, but at 75, I just want to make some money. I don't want to run a business. I just want to make some money. And I found a way with the expireds to do that.
Okay, so there's an important message. So I just want to highlight that, Frank, what you said is that there's so many different places to generate listing leads, expireds, obviously, and there's FSBOs, there's door knocking, there's open houses, there's farming, there's all these things. And I've always said that it's like there's a bunch of different diets on how to lose weight, and the right one is the one that you're going to do that you like to do. Yeah. So you found that you like the expireds as your main thing, and you've created a great system doing that. And I want you to share about that because you sent me some information I thought was awesome. But before I do that, I want to just finish that question. Is there any other places that you're generating listing leads, or is it just the expireds?
Referrals sometimes.
Okay.
And there's sometimes someone calls and they've got they want to buy a home, and so I say, do you have one to sell? Sometimes they do. I say, well, we got to start there. And get that home sold. So I help them get that home sold, and then I turn them over to the buyer's agent. Good.
So you've got your expireds, you've got referrals or past clients, and then the last is an up call or a buyer calling in.
Yeah, calling off clients usually.
Okay. Great stuff. Great stuff. When it comes to your past clients, before I jump to the expireds, are you doing anything to work those or nurture those or to stay in touch with those people?
Yeah, I send out what it is, our broker is real good about sending us information about what's happening in the community. They're building a new shopping mall over at this park, and just things like that. Just news type information. I don't usually send out, hey, I've sold this many houses, you need to call me, and that sort of thing. I send them something that's going on in the community, and that just keeps me in touch with them. And people appreciate that, and they'll even email back, say, thanks for telling us about that.
All right, cool. So you're emailing it out to your people?
Right. Uh-huh.
All right. I asked that and I'm smirking because I know how tech savvy you're not.
Figured that out in the last hour, didn't you?
Yeah. What you all don't know is that we had a bit of a technical glitch trying to get Frank to work on the screen over here. It was kind of fun. So
you know how to turn the camera on.
See, Frank doesn't get distracted with all the technology stuff. He just focuses on the relationships.
Yeah, right.
That's fine. That works. All right, let's go. Let's talk about your expired. So now, you had some really great things that you were telling me in that email about what you do. So walk me through, like I know nothing about what you do on the expireds. How you get an expired for the day. Take me through the whole thing.
Well, first of all, the reason I go after expireds is that they're already motivated. They've already had their home listed, and so they're already motivated. So that's why I go after them. But what I do every day, I print out the MLS printout on each one of the listings.
Yep.
Expireds. I limit it to different expireds. I don't send it to all of them like a home $65,000. I don't send it to them, but I first of all figure out who I want to send it to.
Okay.
Then I print out their listing. I look at it, and virtually every time there's things that wrong with that primary picture, or things that are wrong with the remarks section. Spending half of the remarks section saying, you got to see this, it's a wonderful place and you're gonna love this, and that sort of thing. And so I cross out, I make the notations on the picture, just circle things that I would have done differently.
Okay.
And I, with a highlighter, and then down in the remarks section, I cross out things that I don't think help. get motivate sellers to no, we're buyers.
Yeah, buyers yeah.
Motivate buyers to call you and want to see the home. I cross those out, and then whatever's left, I highlight it with yellow, and they can see, wow, there's not much yellow there. It's mostly just crossed out. So I send that out, and then I also send I've got a page that I had someone do the graphics on and everything, create it for me, but I got about 15 homes that other agents had listed for like 6 months, sometimes 4 months, and one of them 4 years. And then I just give the name of the street, tell them how long it took the other agent and he didn't sell it, or she didn't sell it, and then how long it took me to sell it. So I'll have like 6 months, and I sold it in 2 weeks, something like that. I've got more than 15 I can put up there, but page just big enough for 15. So I send that out, and then I send a bio, kind of a brag sheet. One of the things I say on the brag sheet is that National Real Estate Trainer Daryl Davis invited me to other states to speak. So back in '89, I'm still using that. That's a brag sheet, and then I send one sheet of different things that other past clients have said about me.
Yeah.
And I'll send those 3 plus the listing in the mail, and they call me and want me to come and talk to them.
Now, do you put a cover letter to this? So you create a little packet of your bio, your brag sheet, the houses which I think is brilliant. So I get it. It's a sheet of 15 homes that says, all right, this was on the market for this, 6 months, but I sold it in 6 days. So you have a lot of evidence of that. Do you have a cover letter you send with this?
No, I just send that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Everyone sends out a letter, and I'll have sellers tell me that when I go over there that, I got 50 letters in the mail, and yours is the only one that told me anything about you.
That's awesome. Okay. So Frank, first of all, I love this. And what I love about this too is that, number one is you found the niche that you like. Number two, you've mastered it with your system here. How many, if you were to mail out, let's say 10, how many of those 10 would call you on average?
Any for 10, I send out, probably 500 a month. And
that's how many expireds there are in your market. So you'll
that I would want to send a letter to.
You'll send out 500 in a month, Frank?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, San Antonio, it's a big city. And out of that, I may not get but 2 listings out of 500, but 500 only cost me less than $300, and I got 2 listings out of it. So I just keep doing that every day. I send them out, especially on the first day of the month. There's a lot of them on the first day of the month.
First day, the 15th, and the last day of the month, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you send out 500, you get about 2 listings. How many calls do you get? So you get 2 listings, but how many appointments would you say you go on?
I might go on 4 or 5, something like that.
So that's a great batting average, right? So if you go on 5, you get 2. That's a great batting average. I'm sure your batting average is good because they're calling you as opposed to you calling them, and you've established credibility by how effective you are at selling expired listings.
Yeah.
Now, this is the trainer part of me. Now, this is supposed to be just me interviewing you, but I'm going to train and ask you a question. Have you thought about sending these out and then do a follow-up call if you don't hear from those people?
I don't ever do calls, but sometimes if it's a listing that I'd really like to have, I'll send a follow-up letter out to them, and I just send them something else. That I don't send them a letter saying I hope you got that and please call me. I don't do that. I might send them something like I've got a recommendation letter from a previous broker that I was the number one pro sales agent. The last month I was with that company, and when I switched companies, so I may send that to them. Just something like that. I send to them if it's listings that I really want.
Okay.
Really like to have.
Now, and you do this? Do you do the mailings yourself too?
I create those sheets, and then I print out the envelopes, and then my wife stuffs the envelopes, and then we send them out. So
you got a little husband and wife team thing going over here.
I might do everything differently if I wasn't 75 years old, but I just want to make some money.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I have a suggestion for you. Obviously, this is working extremely well for you.
Where's my pen?
Oh.
Go ahead.
But what you may want to do is to add something that won't cost you anything. And that is, if you got a young kid or something, another realtor, if you're sending out 500 and you're getting 2, I'm thinking about those other 498 and that you're not getting. And maybe if you just gave that to another agent to do a follow-up call after you mail out, and you tell that agent, listen, anything that you call, you're just following up on the mailing I sent out, would they be interested in meeting you face-to-face? And if you get that listing, you'll give that agent, an extra 20% or 25%, whatever you want. In other words, it's free money to you because you ain't doing the work. They're making the call. You're giving them the gift of another way of generating money in real estate. So you're helping another agent. Because that's
I never thought of that.
Yeah, there's so many win-wins about that. You're giving an agent an opportunity who may not be making money to make some money. And it's putting more money into your family account without you working really any harder. The only extra thing you'll be doing is going on another listing appointment.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a thought.
I'm gonna do that.
Now let me ask you this. Let's talk about, so you're 75 and you've got this great thing you've created here. Is your wife working or just she's only with you?
She's always been a stay-at-home mom. Now she's a stay-at-home grandmother. So we've got 10 grandkids, and so
10 grandkids.
And so the ones that aren't living here, she stays in contact with them with text messages and that sort of thing. So she's a full-time grandmother when she's not helping me.
I love it. So let me ask you this now. What do you guys like to do? So tell me, outside of real estate, what does your life look like now? I'm so excited for you because, and I want to hear about your personal side now, because obviously you've created a great business where you're generating, because I want to remind people, you had 26 listings in 2018, 26 in 2019. So how are these listings, by the way, selling? So that's how many you listed. How many would you say are selling?
Most of them, are selling.
Okay.
I haven't figured out the percentage.
Okay.
But
would you say
it was just that they weren't being marketed correctly.
So if you got 26, would you say at least 20 sold?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So you're doing 20 sales a year in San Antonio. And I'm not going to ask you what your commissions amount are, but you're making really good living in your latter years of your life.
Mhm.
But you've got your personal life. So let me hear about that. I want people to be inspired by what you've created for yourself. What does your life look like? What do you guys like to do when you're not going on listing appointments or stuffing envelopes?
Well, we're very involved in our church. Uh, I'm a deacon in a Baptist church. My wife is in charge of recruiting workers for the nursery. So we're very involved in the church. We've got a SeaWorld about 10 minutes from our house. We buy a year pass, and we'll just go out there and walk. We may not do anything else, but just walk out there. And we like walking around the neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
All those things that old people do. Uh, uh, and we love watching a movie on TV at night, so we get out the popcorn and watch a movie. So nothing, we take trips, when we can, usually just, short trips for a weekend or something like that. Just enjoying being together. It's always more fun being with her than it is being by myself.
But I tell you, it's bringing a tear to my eye. It really is. It really is, because it's so wonderful that that you guys have each other, and especially with the challenge that you had, and you've got this great life. So it's really
We've also got 3 of our grandkids are in town, so we spend a lot of time with them.
Do they like SeaWorld?
They love SeaWorld.
Good. How my gosh, 10. How many children do you have? So you have 10 grandkids. How many?
Yeah, 4 grown children.
Okay.
10 grandchildren.
Wow. And how old are the grandchildren? What's the youngest one? What's the oldest one?
The youngest one is 6, and the oldest is 18.
Wow. That's awesome. Maybe that 18-year-old can use a few.
No, we got one that's 2.
Oh.
We haven't even met her yet because she's in Thailand. One of my sons is a missionary in Thailand.
Okay.
So they only come back once every 4 years. So we've got a 2-year-old grandchild over there that we've never met.
Wow.
They're coming back in April. We'll get to see her then.
Wow. Well, you guys must be you and your wife must be very proud and happy what you've produced in your life with your children and your grandkids. That's really awesome.
Well, we give God the glory for all that.
I hear you. I hear you. All right, good. Well, Frank, this was really great. If there was anything as we end this call, but we'll stay on. I'm going to stop the recording. You and I'll stay on for a minute. But is there anything you'd like to say? If you were talking to a new real estate agent just coming into real estate with all of your experience, what's the 1 or 2 bits of advice that you would give them?
This is not what a lot of trainers might say, but I'd say don't ever work with buyers.
Okay.
Just go after listings.
Okay.
And my previous broker had a nickname for me. He said, he called me Termite. He said, we don't even know you're there. And then award time comes and we find out you've been working. So that, I think key is just work, 2 hours of prospecting every day, whatever it takes, but just do it day in and day out.
Yeah.
And another thing that I live by is it's okay to quit. Just don't ever do it today.
No, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, get tired. I'll quit tomorrow, but I'm not going to quit today. And then the next day you say, I'll quit tomorrow, but I'm not going to quit today.
Exactly. If there's anything to put off till tomorrow, put off the quitting. I like it. Well, Frank, one more time, let's give everybody your email address. So I'll give it. It's Frankdunnrealtor at gmail.com if they want to reach out and send you any leads in San Antonio, Texas. And we know that that you'll take good care of them, at least if they're a seller anyway.
Well, I'm taking care of them as a buyer too.
Yeah, you'll take the buyers too. You got the right agent that you'll give them to. I love it. All right, so I'm going to stop this recording. Anyway, gang, there's your Power Agent of the Month. Frank Dunn has created a great life for himself, and slow and steady wins the race.
With the first training program I went to that you were conducting, because I was in the pits at that time, 19 listed appointments with no listing.
And I got to tell you, the reason why we did this interview, I should have said this at the beginning, but Frank he sent me an email out of the blue, and just saying how blessed he was, and he was reflecting back on our first training program together, and the Power Agent book, and he just wanted to thank me. So it was just for Noah.
That's the one you're talking about?
That one, yes. Hold it up higher to the camera. There we go. Yeah, man.
I carry that in my briefcase, and go to the index in the back, and just whatever situation I'm in, I go to the index and find what page it's on.
I love it. I love it. Well, you've inspired me. I'm going to send you another book that you don't have yet, and I'll tell you about it later. But all right, gang, listen, there you go. Thanks again, Frank, so much for making a difference in people's lives. Your story, it was powerful. It's inspiring. I know people got value, so I want to thank you very much. And y'all, yeah, man, you all just follow Frank's lead. Just listings are the name of the game. You need to list the last, build your inventory, and slow and steady wins the race. All right, gang, until I talk to you again, don't forget to keep smiling. All right.